It has taken a long time to get here. Probably because I procrastinate a lot, and sometimes I record an episode and it's like 3 weeks before I actually get around to editing it because I procrastinate and I'm lazy. Yeah, maybe just stop talking about that. So our current main quest is Onward to Canny Valley. Launch the rocket. It's time to settle in Canny Valley. Complete plank off. And our reward is a choice of a legendary hero of one of each type, basically. And by that I mean you get one legendary soldier or one legendary constructor, one legendary ninja, one legendary outlander. It's choice of one. I don't believe you get all of them. We did no, I was gonna say, uh no, we did the Stonewood rocket launch forever ago. If I go back to the beginning of Plankerton, or well, rather the end of Stonewood, we had Van or Astrovan, which was the ending of Stonewood where we did the whole rocket launch defense. It was two waves, and then I could just use that. And then now we're kind of doing the same thing here, except this one's might be a bit more challenging. He's gonna have higher level enemies. It's gonna be plankton. Hopefully the terrain's not terrible, but you never know. This is about like maybe 45 seconds to a minute after recording the previous episode, so I don't really have anything else to do except switch back to base Kyle. I would love to use like other loads more often, but sometimes I'm just not really willing to sacrifice having base and having base Kyle with an 84% increase to my structures. Sometimes I don't really want to sacrifice that. So as usual with the rocket launch missions, it is a unique zone, and once you complete the mission, you can't really just come back and do it again. Actually, no, never mind. I'm pretty sure you can do that again. Hold on, scratch that. Yeah, you could just kind of do that again. I could just go and do the Stonewood rocket launch for fun right now. And I guess the same as is with the plankton one, except I don't think I've ever actually just went out of my way to redo a launch the rocket mission because of how you don't really get rewarded for that the same way you would get rewarded for like one of these kinds of missions where they actually have like alert rewards and whatnot. That's enough rambling. As usual, solo because that's how the series works. Hey, cool building. He wants a med kit, and there's an encampment over there. All right, where's the med kit? Not too far. I got stuck on a mattress. Okay, it's probably in the basement of this building. Yeah, there it is. May as well grab the ammo as well. It's worth noting that launch the rocket does require some BluGlo, so I'm gonna try to collect some before I get there, just to then save my time. Let's go and return this med kit to Survivor. Scratch that. There's the rocket. We'll come back to that when I figure out where that Survivor was. He was over here, so I spawned really close to it. Then hold on. There's no way I spawn. Okay, that's hilarious. I spawned like right here. Rocket's right there. That is so funny. I was not expecting to spawn literally like down the street from the rocket. But I mean that kind of does save me the time of having to look for it. But at the same time, I'm still gonna have to go and look for BluGlo. So whether it really saves me time or not, I'm not sure. Because I find the rockets like really easy to find. Okay, I've collected 6 BluGlo. So for the rocket launch missions, there are two stages of the defense. I completely forgot about this while I was recording the episode, but rocket launch missions actually have 3 stages, not two. and I will require 9 BluGlo and not 6. Yeah, back to the video. Choosing to play missions like solo is useful because it lets you give yourself a lot more time to prepare and farm without being rushed by others who, don't want to do things the same way that you want to do it. That's kind of why I prefer playing solo sometimes. I also just I like I like doing the entire process myself sometimes, and other times I get lazy. More often than you might think. But this will also give me some extra time to farm because I'm not too concerned about anything else right now. I mean, I do have the rocket to actually build for, but this mission doesn't really have a strict timer. It's like 2 or 3 in-game days or something like whatever the normal like timer is where you just get removed from a mission anyways. But I do have the blue glow and I may as well just do this. I can always do more off-camera farming or something. So here we have the rockets. And so we can also kind of see where the first wave is going to attack from. I don't bel I can't really remember if enemies will like change spawns um during the defense. I have no idea and I don't think I care. That was an accident right there. All right. We have enemies coming from the cemetery. Oh, how fitting. But let's collect some of these. We could also probably try to clean up the area a bit to like clear their path. I don't think I'm gonna do it manually with a pickaxe. I might place down the roasty turret and just do it like that. But I may as well farm a little bit of stuff just to get some material. I don't remember how I built for the Stonewood rocket launch, but I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more than what I did then. So around the rocket, this is basically like the most confined you can build around it. You can't place a wall here because you have to stand right there to start it. So you can do like a 1 by 3 build around the rocket, but you can place a roof there at least. And then I personally will usually build up like walls to try to cover more of it. It might not be necessary like here to try to cover like a lot of it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know like later it may become useful and or essential later, especially with ranged enemies like lobbers that will very aggressively target the top of the rockets. Might change up my idea here a little bit. I do have access to anti-air traps. And I don't want to cover up the top really just because it doesn't seem necessary. So I'm gonna place a couple anti-airs like that. It might be weird, but it might also just help mitigate a bit of range attacks from loppers and flingers, giving me a bit more time to fight them. I'm not sure if I really want to do tunnels because I kind of want to build sheep again, even though it's also like it poses a bit of a risk as well. That's just because like that's not an essential spot. They're not going to target the front the same way. I don't think. Emphasis on think, or emphasis on I don't think rather. We can do the exact same thing over here. And I swear I was not trying to make this look stupid. Um, that's just how it ends up looking because of the way that I choose to do things. However, the odd and like tall shape of the objective does leave a lot of room for the way that I wanted to do this in the first place. We can clean up some of these that I wasn't actually going to use at all. You can also use ceiling drop traps like 3 tiles up. So I could have actually placed them like on tiles here. However, I don't think it's necessary for where I am right now because I feel like what I already have should be probably sufficient. See, he got destroyed pretty quickly. Use my supply drop, get a little bit of free stuff. The supply drop is pretty useful, especially later as you level it up further and you get it tends to drop more as you level it up further. I'm only saying this because I want to remember to check the gadgets tab, and see if I actually have any upgrade points I can spend. Because I haven't thought about that in a while. I kind of want to use a melee defender, but I know he's just going to get wrecked. But I've already placed the defender pad. So now I guess I should really think about that a little more. I mean, actually, if I didn't already place the defender post, I would have actually had a good spot to put him. Could have put him somewhere else, but I've already placed it. So I'll just... Was I already thinking? I was thinking of using... No, I feel like a defender with a vacuum tube bow is just going to miss every shot. Screw it. I will use a melee defender. You can have that. If he goes down constantly, I'll just revive him constantly. Starting the mission, you go up to this point. You can increase the difficulty if you want to spend more BluGlo, and if you want more of a challenge. I personally don't care for it because the rewards for increasing the difficulty is not like... It's not significant enough where I feel like it can actually justify making a defense more challenging sometimes. And also, please note that the build that I'm doing here is completely reliant, or at least 99% reliant on playing as a constructor like base Kyle, where you get an increased building health, because then I have really strong walls, and then enemies taking damage for attacking the walls or standing near the walls because of the traps. I entirely forgot I had a bundle bus schematic. I need to remind myself to level it up later, because that'll be a really, really fun weapon to have. Oh, you're down. Possibly due to the high number of ranged enemies, but I mean, I wasn't going to do anything about that. I mean, I could have also placed a sniper defender somewhere else. I could also just place a second defender. That also occurs to me just now. That I could do a second defender. But I'm probably not going to do a second defender. I feel like... Yeah, I definitely just crafted 4 of those when I only actually needed 2. And it wouldn't hurt if I wanted to do that. That wouldn't hurt either, since a lot of enemies are going to be attacking this wall. I'm not even going to bother fighting him because we have 1 second. Goodbye. And wave 1 went pretty smoothly. Let's see. Are they going to... Oh, there's dialogue.
Prepare your defenses and get ready for stage 2. Deposit BluGlo to prep the rocket for
Okay, so enemy spawns look like there's two sides now. That's something I didn't account for. Um, I mean, but notice that enemies they didn't change their spawns during the defense. So that opens up like I could easily trap tunnel, but at the same time, like I was saying earlier, I want to be a bit cheap and lazy. So that's why I'm gonna stick with what I'm doing right now and just kind of maybe try to reinforce the build a little bit based on how some of these enemies are spawning, like over here. I want to try to do something that might prevent them from going this way and attacking where I'm actually most vulnerable down there. I could also just like cover their spawn and ceiling electric fields, but I don't think that's necessary. I think that would be completely unnecessary. Placed the wrong one. Oh, a little unfortunate because I didn't want to use that one because it's tier 3. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't really care. Let's switch out the defender to use this pistol instead. There is a bonus for keeping the rocket above, what is it, 50% health. But I mean, it is what it is, but it's like I don't think it matters all that much really. At least I don't personally care for it. But it's also like I also don't expect my objectives to take in that much damage, especially if I'm well prepared for it. Unless something goes unpredictably wrong. In which, it can happen. Especially if you especially if you're doing like what I'm doing right now and you're kind of just cutting corners and making a defense without putting in a lot of effort to it. A pistol defender up close might not have been my greatest call because pistol defenders are just gonna get like swarmed. So the melee defender might have actually been the better call, but even then the melee defender was going down really quickly because he couldn't withstand a couple hits. So really, I don't know what I should be doing. Is the point I'm trying to get at here. Seeing a lot of shielded husks, which doesn't benefit my build. It actually kind of sucks because it gives them more health and they can attack walls for longer because of that. However, I can also still counter it just by trying to destroy their shields. It would not let me bull rush in time, but no, he did hit that wall for sure. But he didn't do enough damage to really make it a problem, and then he's dead. Last 30 seconds, and enemies have yet to even breach a wall with more than, like, let alone even deal half damage to a wall. The Smasher got close to a quarter damage. I'd say even that was half of a quarter of damage. These walls have 3,386 health. If I built in metal, like tier 3 metal instead, they would have more health. But I was also just trying to cheap out because I had more brick at the start of this mission. I still do have more brick, actually. And rocket launch complete. Easy. Wait. Oh, my dumbass just thought thought there was 2 stages. There's 3. You need 9 BluGlo. I I forgot this last time too during the Stonewood one. I thought there was only 2 stages during the Stonewood one as well, and then this exact same thing happened. Now that I've got that sorted, I have the BluGlo that I needed. Start that. Oh, and here comes the problem wave, I assume. Wave 3 is always going to be the hardest, I feel like. And it seems like we have some ranged enemies, and by some, I mean I saw, like, a couple already. And I am being destroyed right now. Ouch. I'm wondering if I wanna just, like, stay up here and focus on, ranged husks. The lobbers and whatnot. Seemingly, they haven't damaged the rocket at all. Yet. But now that I said that, I'm sure it's gonna happen. I don't even know how I marked that. I was pretty sure I didn't have a key set for that. Like, left alt opens my inventory. Let's not throw at a 90-degree angle, please. And if you're gonna throw, please be somewhere where I can see you with ease. Somehow, I guess I always forget that rocket launch missions have 3 waves because I always feel like it's 2, even though like I feel like I should have known since I did the same thing last time. They are just being like relentless with lobbers. And I don't even have a defender down there to help with crowd controlling. So I'm really preying on the reinforced walls, basically. And thankfully, like, we do have fire enemies, so it would have benefited to build a metal. But I mean, level 3 brick is still holding out just fine, I think. They haven't breached it yet, and it's been getting chaotic now. Funny, like just thinking back about how easy the earlier 2 waves were, and then now I'm actually up here panicking and trying to immediately kill every lobber that I see before I can do anything. Add additional height to that. I'm primarily aiming at just the lobbers because these are the enemies that are actually going to pose a threat to the defense. So I want to try to eliminate them first and foremost. Especially before they try to get to places where I can't see them and then throw it at a 90-degree angle. You have the last 5 seconds now. Ow. Wait, it didn't take any damage, I don't think. Even with the lobbers, like, throwing almost relentlessly like that, it didn't seem like it took in any damage, just some walls. And even down here, they never even breached, let alone got a wall to half health because my walls are reinforced and healing. I'm not gonna skip this one because it's unique. Look at that guy. Gone. That is the, like, old Stonewood map, though. These are rewards if I've ever seen any. Oh, it's a Battle Pass XP. 20,005 20,005 I don't know if I would really care for the 5. Quest complete, plank off. with 100 gold. The area itself is filled with Husk Stage too. I think that's the cram session, so that's kind of like event-ish, but it's like, it's still just XP, which is useful, especially like where I am right now, where I'm kind of lacking on some of the stuff.
How's it going, Lars? Okay, well, yelling is better than silence. Major Oswald, defender status.
Don't worry about them. They'll hold down the fort.
Whenever you're ready, Commander.
Ooh, now we get to choose. See, the thing is, you get to choose one, and it's completely random, but it's guaranteed to be legendary or mythic, I guess. So what it says down there. Now, throughout the series, I haven't really used Ninja or Outlander a whole lot, and there isn't really a reason for that. It's just like a lot of the time, if I'm doing a defense mission solo, I like to be a constructor, just because, as I said, base Kyle, for instance, when where you have like 84% increased health to your structures affected by your base. Or if I'm doing a non-defense mission, so it's more offense, then I like to play a soldier. Let's go legendary constructor, just because that's been what I use the most. And we got legendary tank Penny, hardware damage. I got that off the top of my head. And we got our awesome rarity Reaver. I'll be sure to treasure that for the rest of my life. Recycles the Nighthawk. Uh, actually, I don't need that either. I don't need two of these. I like I like the perks on the other one better. Yeah, so our next quest is the beginning of Canny Valley with Storm Shield Defense 1. And we'll be doing that sometime in the future, let's say. I've been hard focusing on this series of replaying Save the World to a point where there is actually a hilarious amount of things that have actually come out, new items to the game that I haven't really even touched, let alone on my main account, I haven't really touched them either. There's something about like alternating like one video on this account, one video on my main account where I don't really want to do that because it just looks and feels weird to constantly see my power level and my like progress switch between like an end game player and like an early game player, if that makes sense. It's just not the way that I want to do things, so that's why I've been hard focusing on just one and not trying to do like both at the same time or something. And so I guess instead of going right ahead into Canny Valley for the next episode, I think I'm gonna put the series on hold here as we've kind of completed, I guess, like a big chapter of the series. Like Stonewood was its own chapter, and then I went and did some other videos on my main account, playing with some other cool ideas that I have because I have a huge list of stuff that I still want to do. There's so much things that I've never really made a video on, or things that I haven't really played with that would be fun for a video. And I guess I want to do the same with Plankerton here. Like once this video is uploaded and like it's all said and done, that's the end of Plankerton. And so the next episode will be the beginning of Canny Valley, but I want to save that for somewhere later down the line. There's a lot of it's just like there's so much on my main account that I want to do. A lot of videos that I've had on the back burner for years. Not really years, but like the last 8 to 12 months, let's say. That like it's a huge list and some of that stuff I'm already ready to start recording for, and some of it needs just a little bit more planning, a little bit more writing and work because I want to do a lot more stuff, and a lot of it doesn't require me to be on this account specifically because a lot of it is more or less stuff from my main account. But either way, I mean, obviously, I still want to come back and finish Canny Valley somewhere in the future after I have some fun with some other videos that I want to make.